Well, to our first guest this afternoon, and many residential investors are shifting their focus to commercial property, attracted by some income security and higher yields. But which of the sectors of the commercial market offer the best opportunities? Here to tell us more is author of Commercial Property Investing Explained Simply, Steve Palise. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Alana. Hi, Alana. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here. Look, there's a lot going on in the market at the moment, particularly in the wake of COVID. Talk to us about commercial investing and I guess some of the opportunities there.
Yeah, there's definitely opportunities for some distressed sales, but generally you want to take a long-term mindset anyway. So even though you might pick up a little bit of a bargain now, you should still be buying with a 20, 30-year plan in place.
So what are some of the myths, I guess, about commercial property in regards to lack of growth or high vacancy? Can you dispel any of those for us?
Yeah, they're both completely untrue, for instance. So like the lack of growth, if that was the case, why aren't they the same price as they were 20 years ago? They generally have to move on par with the residential market. Otherwise, you'd end up with a $2 million house in a suburb and a $500,000 warehouse. So there's some correspondence there. The other one is the vacancy. So most people hear a horror story and then they'll tarnish all commercial with it. So like you can't compare a medical center with an industrial warehouse, with a CBD office, for instance. They're all going to have different vacancy profiles, versatility, things like that. But you can buy really secure investments with commercial as long as you know what you're doing.
So talk to us, I guess, about the impact that COVID-19 has had, particularly on the commercial property sector, because we know in residential this has affected different capital cities differently. Melbourne, in a residential sense, has had a really high vacancy rate. Over in Perth, you can't get a rental at all. So what's been happening in terms of commercial property?
Yeah, it's a similar story with commercial. So it's different areas are going to have different profiles. The CBDs are obviously hit with the working from home. So there's less foot traffic going. So the retail and the offices in the CBDs are really struggling. But then there's like my local cafe has told me his business has doubled. So people aren't going into the office anymore. They're going to their local cafe. So I call them essential service retail. And that can just be things like little shopping centers, hairdressers, barbers, cafes, things like that in suburbia. There's some really good stuff there. And then other markets, like with the e-commerce boom, warehouses are really going up in value and tightening, and vacancy rates are actually lower in most capital cities than they are in residential property.
So I guess if you're looking at these as an investor and you're weighing up your options, what are some of the main benefits, I guess, of investing with commercial property in particular?
Yeah, so with commercial, the main benefit is getting the cash flow. So you buy a commercial property, it is highly cash flow positive. But it's also a lot more work to find a good quality one because you're looking at the business that's in it, the location, the foot traffic, the competition in the area, the vacancy rates. You really want to know what you're doing because it's not like residential where if you buy in an okay suburb, you're going to have a tenant. You really need to check because like something like a retail, for instance, on the main street, that might be a good investment. One street back, a terrible investment.
Yeah, okay. So there's definitely still some risks there that you need to be working through.
Yep, exactly right. So I'd say contact like a professional or do a lot of work with your due diligence.
Yeah, so who are some of the best people, I guess, to talk to about these kind of opportunities?
There's buyer's agents out there like me, so I'm a qualified buyer's agent. But I just say research. So like go online, listen to podcasts, read books, talk to as many people that you know that own commercial property and hear the good stories, the bad stories, what works and what doesn't work. But fundamentally, just bring it back to simple investing. Don't try to get too complicated. Just tick the usual investor boxes.
Well, thanks for joining us on the program, Steve. Really appreciate your insight on this topic this afternoon.
Thanks, Alana. It's been great.